Okay, good morning, Ms. Key. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So I would like to say that you did a great job finding, your students did a great job finding the slope of the line and writing the equation. You had 80% mastery, so I think that's a great job.
Thank you.
All right. So today we will focus on writing equations using 2 points. And we're going to be using your activity 12.2 for that.
Okay. I have that.
All right. So I would like for you to take a minute and in your own words, write down what students need to know and be able to do to master this test. So what we're doing is creating your no-show chart.
Okay.
Okay. And I will create one as well. So you have my no-show chart. I have yours. Is it anything that you think that is missing from our no-show?
Not on our no-show, but in comparison to our students, I know that they're missing something.
Okay, okay, I got you. All right, so let's look at your teacher exemplar. I would like for you to take 1 to 2 minutes to review your exemplar and write down some key points for that students will need to know to be able to have the ideal answer.
Okay, and so this will be based off what I know I was looking for versus what I'm looking at with them.
Well, you're just going to look at your exemplar, and based on your exemplar, what do students need to be able to do to
Okay.
make so their paper will match yours.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Okay.
and now I'll tell you what I noticed, right?
Well, how does this align with the standard? Is there anything that you would like to add to your no-show chart based off that?
No, not on my end. I don't need to add anything. My exemplar, I guess as a teacher, I'm well versed and I know that all of this is all the things that they need to know and be able to show me that they have mastered this skill.
Okay. All right. So let's look at some of your one of your student exemplars.
Okay.
Okay, so based on this exemplar, we want to compare it to your exemplar and see if there is a gap. This is a student exemplar, your exemplar, and we want to see did they reach those points that you said that they should be able to do to master the concept.
So, no. They mastered a part of the concept, but after looking at yours and looking at mine, having gone over all of the things that my students did, I have my high, my medium, my low, and what I noticed, everybody skipped one problem.
Okay.
And the one problem that everybody skipped, I guess that would be the most important part of the standard, is them being able to create and utilize the slope equation, for them to use that y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 to find their slope. They were able to count, they could create the right triangle, go up 4 over 2, but they were not able to actually, without the photo, without the picture, with just having the points, they were unable to find that equation, to find the slope without counting.
Okay. So is there a gap then?
Yes, there's definitely a gap, and the gap, I guess specifically, will be that they are they're not equipped to be able to utilize the equation. They have not yet mastered that skill, given 2 points to create an equation of the line. That's the gap.
Okay, so basically, even though you have a high exemplar paper and some medium and some lows, everybody has not mastered that skill.
No.
Okay, so
I mean, yes, everyone is not.
Okay, so when we look at some of the unmastered work, some medium and some lows, we already know that they haven't gotten it. Is there anything else that they are missing?
No, that's the main thing. Everybody can find slope by counting, which was a big deal, but they are, none of them, and I look at even my high had the answer of what the slope is, but she did not utilize, or he did not utilize, the slope equation.
Okay, so what is your key area to reteach?
finding the equation of a line using 2 points. That is the focus.
And so what is going to be your best way to do that?
I think based on this particular class, it needs to be guided discourse, because on the first time I feel like I modeled it. I think I did a good job modeling it, but obviously I did not. So I think that guided discourse is the best way to go. They need to be able to see what they've done. So I'll take these papers, take their names off and say, hey, do you see anything that's similar? Do you see anything that's missing? Because they should all be able to see, oh, nobody did number 1. And utilize that to help them.
So what else are you going to do with this guided discourse?
I'm going to focus on them having interactive notes, because if they have their own guide in their own handwriting, that'll help.
Okay.
I want them to be able to answer the questions by writing the equation. I want to separate them into whatever group you feel like this one is correct over here. Y'all all stand over here. You feel like this one is correct. Y'all all stand over there. And then tell me why y'all all ended up together. How did y'all end up together? Why didn't you join this group? I really want there to be a conversation about what they're looking at without me. I can facilitate it, but I don't want to be the lead voice in
Gotcha. That. Okay. All right, so let's take about 6 minutes and actually write that script out for this reteach. And I will write a script as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
So let's compare our reteach plans. Okay, so here's my plan, my script. Right. All right, and let's look at them. So did you notice anything? Is it anything we need to revise to strengthen your plan? Did you see anything different in my plan from your plan?
I think your words are better than mine. So I'm gonna look on I'm gonna look on the back of yours. How you wrote your standard out is more teachery.
Okay.
Is that right? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with how I wrote it out, but I like how you utilize the exact words from the standard. I guess I need to be better at that. I just shortened it in my own words. Gotcha. But other than that, I think we have the same idea.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is actually practice. I want you to use your reteach and actually go through it with me. Okay.
So you want to use my paper? I mean,
you're gonna take your script, and you're gonna read it to me.
You're gonna be my kid?
I'm your kid.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, kids. Hello, students. I noticed that many of you struggle with being able to use the slope equation to write an equation utilizing 2 points. And so today I want to take some time to ensure that you are able to do that. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put up some sample lesson plans. And don't worry, your names are not on these lessons. On these particular problems, and I just want you guys to split up into groups. I want you to take a moment and look at the work and tell me which one do you believe has the correct answers or has less things that are missing, or is there anything missing? And then I want you to decide A or B. Once you decide if you're going to go with paper A, I want you guys to go over here into the corner, and then if you decide on paper B, I want you to go into that corner, and I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to discuss why y'all ended up in A, why y'all ended up in B. Questions?
No questions.
Okay, you know what you're going to do. All right, so I'm going to start my timer. Boop. And as my timer is going, I'm just going to come around so I can hear some of the conversations that you're having. I don't want to interrupt. You can't ask me any questions at this point, but when my timer goes off, we'll talk about what you guys came up with. So I'm gonna let my timer run. and I'm gonna call on. This is not like what I'm gonna say to them, but in real life, once my timer goes off, I'm gonna call on 3 students, probably the high, medium, and low. So that would be Genesis, Jaquan, and Marvin, to talk about how they ended up in whatever groups they were in, and then to hear their conversations.
Okay.
So, beep, the timer is going off. I'm like, hey, Genesis, can you talk to me about which paper you chose, whether it was A or B? Let her talk. Okay, thank you for sharing. Jaquan, can you talk to me about what you chose? Let him talk. Marvin, how did you end over in B? How did you, why didn't you go to A? Let him talk. And then have everybody to have a seat, go back to their groups, and they're already separated into different groups. And so I want to remind them, like, hey, this is what you need to remember on how to write an equation using 2 points. So by that time, everybody will have their interactive notes already written out, because that's one of the things that I wanted to incorporate. Then I'll still give them an additional 4 to 5 minutes to have group talk about, like, hey, do you think what he said was right? Did it make you? What I'm hoping is going to happen is, after they've heard those 3 people talk, that it will allow them to do a little bit more engaging in the conversation of, did we really look at this last time? Because I'll still have those papers up. After they've done their group talk, I'll go in and talk about them writing an equation. What is the equation? Asking questions of, can you tell me, can you look at your notes? Can you remind me what the equation is? What I'm hoping is going to happen is they're going to say y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And even at this point, if they don't realize that that's what we have been working towards, that's when I can come in and facilitate, hey, what did we use to find that? Instead of counting, what can we use? If we tired and we don't feel like counting going up and going over, what is that equation? What does it look like? What variables are in that equation? It's trying to trigger the memory of, oh, it's when you have the y2 thing. Okay.
How did this practice help you with what you plan to reteach?
It really made me think I got to make sure that I'm guiding, but guiding from a distance, if that makes sense, because I think the guided discourse, what my students struggle with is that they want it to be right every single time. And I'm saying, hey, it doesn't have to be right, but we have to have a conversation about why was it wrong? And what does it look like for us to get better in that? So they need to struggle a little bit and get out of that, oh, it has to be perfect every single time. So me actually writing out what I think is going to happen, like them saying, oh, the y2 thing, I think that that's good, because it gives me something to be prepared for before I go in and teach.
Okay. So will all your students receive this reteach?
Yes, everybody needs to go back through this equation, because doing this know and show with you made me realize that I had a lot of hit and misses where people were able to answer multiple questions because they were counting, but they're still not comfortable utilizing something as simple as y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1.
Okay, so when do you plan to do this reteach?
Next class period. That will be tomorrow.
Okay, so I'll come and I'm going to observe. And what data will you collect to see if they've reached mastery on this skill?
So after we review this particular problem, I think it's important for them to see something similar. So they're going to do an exit ticket that day, and it'll be on a problem similar to this, because I don't want to just jump in and give them something in a different format. So it'll be a problem similar to this, and it'll be the exit ticket for the day.
Okay, so great. I'm looking forward to coming and meeting with you so that we can discuss your reteach observation as well as your data.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for working with me on this. I really want them to get better in multiple aspects, and this is a good start.
Thank you so much.
No problem.